Hey, this is Justin Carpenter with Wandering Toward Truth. I'm speaking to you from Utah. You see behind me, that's Red Canyon, I believe it's called. Pretty close to Bryce Canyon National Park. Really pretty area. But yeah, it's been a minute since I did a video, so I just wanted to connect and share some thoughts. Um, so I'll just jump right in. The My previous videos have kind of been centered around, and I'm going to be purposely vague. There's a lot of censorship going on. So I'll be vague in my terms, but my focus has been on this illness that we've been dealing with and the sort of media portrayal of it. And again, I've never said and not claiming that this illness is not real. It's most certainly real. It most certainly has affected people. However, like I've said, the reactions to it, the media portrayal, have all been based around fear and not the truth. And they have certainly some nefarious purposes for why the narrative has been steered in that sort of way that I've gone into a little bit. But for the most part, it's all been about control. There's been a group of people that have been in power for a very, very long time, and they are losing that power. And so this illness and the sort of other events that have happened this year that have been emotionally triggering, they've all been designed and constructed in order to have us give away our power to these people who create the problem, but then they also create the solution so that you acknowledge the problem and then you go to that solution, that whatever they present forward. But it's not based on the truth. It's not based on reality. It's just based on agendas and whatnot. But anyway, I know there are many people who still don't believe that, and that's okay. And I just want to say I'm not really going to focus too much on trying to convince anybody. All of that information is going to come out, um, and people can be convinced in their own time, in their own way. Um, I will say that the longer you take to sort of come to terms with that, the more uncomfortable it's going to get. Um, but that's okay. And so, on that note, I just wanted to sort of throw it out there that while 2020 has been tumultuous so far, and we've had a lot of things turned upside down, it's only going to accelerate in this next time period. Um, Specifically, we're going to see a lot of high level arrests, indictments, and court proceedings of some very powerful people that we've been trained to trust, to think these are good people and that they've had our best interests in mind. And we're going to find out that these are not good people, and they've had some very nefarious agendas at play, and they've done some very, very nasty things. And that's going to be really hard for people to come to terms with because, like I said, we've been trained our whole life to trust authority, trust certain figures. Anyone who's on the TV is automatically trustworthy no matter what they say. Um, and that's going to be really hard for people to come to terms with, that a lot of these people are liars. A lot of these people have really done some nasty things. Um, but on that, it's good that we're going through, because that is the truth. That is the truth of what's happened, and we do need to come to terms with that, even though it's uncomfortable. Even though we would rather at times just kind of continue on our lives as normal and not have to deal with these uncomfortable things. But it's all happening for divine reason. And as we go through this process, I want to really encourage people to find your spiritual practice or strengthen your spiritual practice. And that can look like whatever. It's literally just surrendering to your connection with something bigger than you. And whether you use the term God or source or the creator or whatever, and if any of those terms trigger you, I'd invite you to kind of look at why those terms might trigger you. But all I'm saying is just focus on that connection to the divine, to something bigger than yourself, whether that's meditating or praying or spending time out in nature. I really love the practice of putting my bare feet on the ground. We are electrical, energetic beings, and so we can harbor a lot of energy that, if we don't let it release, it can manifest in all sorts of different ways, and potentially negative ways. So I like to put my bare feet on the ground on a regular basis and just truly ground, let those energies pass into the earth, which I think is really, really helpful. But whatever that looks like to you, just make sure you focus on that going forward, because that's how we truly, that's how we come to truth. Like for those Christians out there, Jesus said, "I'm the truth, the light, and the way," and truth is so important in understanding our reality around us. Truth is godliness. Truth is how we have that connection. Because if we don't have truth in our lives, then our connection with anything is built on a false construct. It's this facade that we built or someone else has built for us. And so that's why it's so important to ground and focus on truth. And yeah, so find that practice, find that connection with your higher power. That's going to be really important going forward. And then also, and I've said in the past, but if anyone needs extra support or just wants someone to listen to them or talk about things or whatever, I'm always here. I love talking about bigger picture stuff. I love discussing things. I love helping people find their greatest potential and navigate through difficult times and problem solve and all those kind of things. So I love these kind of stuff, and so I'm always happy to help. But if it's not me, make sure you reach out for support if you need it. Reach out to family and friends. If you see family and friends that are struggling, reach out to support them. It's going to be really important, especially in these times moving forward, that we support each other, because a lot of people are not going to want to believe what is portrayed. They're not going to want to believe that this could be possible, that our world has been manipulated to such a degree that all these people that we've trusted for so long are going to be turned out to be untrustworthy. It's going to be really, really difficult for people to come to terms with. And so that's why, again, I'd invite you to find your grounding practice, but also support those who might need a little bit of extra help. It's going to be really important that we stay in communion with each other and we love each other. We support each other, not be divisive and name calling and because we're all going through this at our own pace. We're all going through this in our own time and for specific reasons. We go through it in this way, and so that's why it's important to just kind of have grace and forgiveness and help people out with it. And I know I'm being kind of vague. I'm not giving a lot of details about what is exactly going to happen, because I don't know all the details, and I don't and the details aren't necessarily that important to discuss right now, because you'll see what I'm referring to when it does start to break. And my thing is just, to focus on the bigger picture. Why are we here? We're here to expand and to grow and to be better people, to come to know God, to come to know this universe, this world that we're a part of, and to be better. Just be better. And the only way that we can do that is if we sort of go through this dark night of the soul, where we uncover both our internal aspects of uncomfortable truths that we haven't wanted to acknowledge. How do we play out in our relationships? How often are we judging people? How often are we blaming and shaming and all these other sort of negative things that we need to let go of? And then on a larger scale, what sort of uncomfortable truths are we unwilling to acknowledge on that level? What sort of things are we what sort of aspects and avenues are we unwilling to go to because they are uncomfortable? And it's not going to be something that we're going to be able to avoid. Sure, we can postpone this sort of confrontation with these uncomfortable truths for a bit longer. We get to decide how long this next period takes. But the longer we postpone it, the more uncomfortable it's going to get, because this is all part of a grander design of us going. We are transcending. We're going through a paradigm shift. And on the other side, once we go through the sort of dark and scary part, on the other side is that world that we all know is possible, the one that we've dreamed of, the one where everyone is loved and taken care of, and there's no more survival and dog eat dog, and none of that kind of stuff exists anymore. We're able to just live harmoniously and create and And I know that sounds like a pipe dream, but everyone knows in their hearts, or everyone wants that in their hearts. And so we just kind of have to get the pieces out of the way that have been preventing us from getting to that place, moving to that abundant world, and which is really exciting. So again, I'm here if anyone wants to reach out and talk about this kind of stuff. But talk about it with anyone. It's someone who's close to you. If you're having a hard time, but yeah, just sort of brace yourself and have grace, compassion, forgiveness, and yeah, we're gonna get through this. And it's really exciting. It might be scary, but it's really exciting what's coming on the other side. So yeah, love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.